You know that feeling when you've written something and it just doesn't flow? Well, today we're going to unlock a secret weapon that can take your writing from choppy to super clear. It's called a defining relative clause. And trust me, it's way simpler and more powerful than it sounds.
Right? We've all been there. You're writing along, and your sentences just feel, I don't know, disconnected, choppy. Like the meaning is in there somewhere, but the rhythm is all wrong. It just doesn't sound good.
Okay, check out the difference here. On the left, you've got the woman called the police. She lives next door. I mean, it's fine, but they're separate ideas. Now look at the right. The woman who lives next door called the police. See that? One smooth, elegant sentence. It just flows so much better, right? It connects everything perfectly.
So the big question is, how do we build that bridge between our ideas, like every single time? Well, it turns out there's a specific little tool in our grammar toolkit designed for exactly this job. And that tool, it all starts with a really fundamental building block, something that's key to making your writing sound more sophisticated.
And that building block is the complex sentence. Don't let the name scare you. It's actually pretty simple. All it is you take an independent clause. That's just a fancy way of saying a complete thought that can stand on its own as a sentence. And you join it with a dependent clause, which is a piece of info that can't stand on its own. You stick them together, and boom, you get a much richer, more detailed sentence.
Okay, so the specific kind of dependent clause we're zeroing in on is called a relative clause. Its entire job in life is to add more information about a noun. It either describes it or it helps you identify which one you're talking about. Yeah, you can totally think of it like a little precision tool for your sentences. All right, so how do we actually attach this extra info to our main sentence? Well, you need a special set of words, kind of like magic connector words. And these are our magic words, relative pronouns. They're what kick off our relative clause, and they link it right back to the noun we're talking about. Seriously, they're like the glue that holds these awesome, complex sentences together. And luckily, the rules are really straightforward. You just use who when you're talking about people, use which for things. That is kind of the flexible one. It can work for both people or things. And then whose is all about possession, showing something belongs to someone. Super simple, right? Okay, so let's get specific. We're focusing on defining relative clauses. And that word, defining, is the absolute key here. It means the information we're adding isn't just a nice little extra detail. No, it's totally essential. But what actually makes a piece of information essential? Like, what's the real difference between a nice-to-have detail and a detail that your sentence literally can't live without? Well, the answer comes down to one word: clarification. The information is essential because it tells your reader exactly which person or thing you're talking about. Without it, they're left scratching their heads going, wait, which one are they talking about? This example makes it super obvious. If I just say, the student got a perfect score, what's your first question? Which student? Right? There could be 100 students, but when I add that defining relative clause, who studied all night, bam, it's suddenly crystal clear. We know exactly which student we're talking about. And that's the absolute bottom line here. With a defining relative clause, that extra bit of info isn't just optional flavor. Without it, the sentence is basically incomplete, it's vague, and it just doesn't get the job done. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Why does any of this actually matter? I promise you it's about way more than just passing some grammar quiz. Look, this isn't just some dusty old grammar rule. It's a tool for making your writing more precise and way more powerful. Getting a handle on these clauses lets you get rid of any confusion and helps you express really complex ideas with total confidence. And there's this great quote that really sums it up. At the end of the day, when you force yourself to write clearly, you're also forcing yourself to think clearly. The two just go hand in hand. So what now? Well, the next time you sit down to write, I want you to be on the lookout for those choppy, disconnected sentences. And when you find them, just ask yourself, can I build a bridge here? Because now you know exactly what tool to use to build a really strong one.